Morning. Thank you for attending our third in a series of entrepreneurs in career and technical education. Today, we are talking with Miss Tanisha Green, and she has found a way to create a very unique career. I think everyone's going to enjoy hearing about this. Our host for today's interview is Dr. Nancy Rossiter, and I am going to go ahead and let them get started. Thank you all for attending.
Well, good morning. I'm glad we finally got everything worked out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to launch right in. We sent you a few questions. I may or may not stick to those, but we figured we'd give you a few so you could be prepared for them. But I think everybody who's seen the name of your business is wondering, as an entrepreneur, that's one of the first things that you have to do is come up with a name for your business. So tell us a little bit about the name and what it means, and could you pronounce it for us?
It's Salubrious Eats. Salubrious means health giving. My business model is modeled surrounding people with health issues. I'm type 1 diabetic. So I had to learn how to cook for what I was afflicted with. And I'm also a nurse. So I noticed a common theme between patients that they were ignoring nutrition. So I kind of combined the two. So that's how we got Salubrious Eats.
Okay, great. So my first real question then is, why did you decide to become an entrepreneur, foregoing a regular paycheck and starting off on your own? What made you decide to take the leap?
Well, there wasn't really a model there's no one size fits all. So there's really no one out there that teaches cooking that I knew of that teaches cooking classes that are aimed at a specific illness that makes it affordable. I did home health, so I serviced a lot of areas where people don't have that much extra income to be able to afford a chef to come into their homes and show them how to, cook the foods that they need to eat to sustain them. So I just kind of took a leap and I saw a need and I wanted to fill it.
Okay, fantastic. The next question I have has to do with how your education helped to shape your desire to become an entrepreneur. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was a chef first, and then I got diabetes, and I went and got my bachelor's in nursing, and just getting into nutrition and food, which is always my base love. I want to help people, but food has always been a passion of mine. So just learning the different foods that are out there and how they help with the body as it pertains to nutrition, and then combining that with the body and what I know about it, it just made sense. The two just met somewhere in the middle of the road and created Salubrious Eats.
Okay, great. Well, you and I have something in common. I've been through the FSCJ culinary program. I have gotten all my classes taken care of, and I see that Robert Bowman is one of our attendees, and I think he's familiar with that. I'm like probably the student that has stayed the longest in the program.
Yeah.
I think it's taken me about 7 years to get this far, but I still have my internships to do. So,
Right.
So was there anything in particular about FSCJ that helped you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Him. He's very persistent.
He's a great teacher, yes.
He's very persistent. Him. He pushed me to do lots of things that were uncomfortable. Lots of things I didn't necessarily think I wanted to do, but the exposure that he's given me has also been immensely important in helping me get to where I am now. Just the connection with him. He always throws my name in something.
Too funny. I'm glad he doesn't have a microphone. So
Right. Yeah,
we have him muted deliberately. Okay, so getting back to your business, obviously you needed to gather some resources in order to get started. So how did you come up with those resources? What did you need?
Luck, lots of luck, and lots of luck. Because I had no idea about the business aspect of business. I just had a passion. So I started with the connections I had that led to other connections. Jack's Chamber is a wealth of information for entrepreneurs. I went through the Jax Bridges program there. I spoke with SCORE counselors, and so really between connections and Jax Chambers, that's kind of how I got my footing. And then everything else, you just trial and error, basically.
Okay, for sure. I think the well-known analogy for starting a business is being on a cliff and building a hang glider as you know,
Hmm.
slide down.
And
So,
that's accurate.
okay, great. So, the other questions that come up, generally the road to success isn't always easy. So what types of obstacles did you come up against and how did you overcome them when you decided to start this business?
I think just tenacity, because you get momentum and then you hit a wall, and then you gain momentum and then you hit a bigger wall. But I've had some really unique opportunities. I taught culinary nutrition at FSCJ for one semester, and that led to a relationship with St. Vincent's, and I was teaching classes with doctors at St. Vincent's with their patients, which is basically what my business model is. So I've luck lots of luck, and then you hit a wall, but you just keep going. Your passion has to be really, really rooted in you, or you'll quit.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those walls that you came up against that maybe would
Well,
help
you
out?
you get a couple of clients, and then it seems like everyone disappears, or or this person saying, "Hey, this sounds good. Let's link up and do this," and then it doesn't happen. So it's just a lot of ebbs and flows of excitement, and it's like, oh.
Yes, the entrepreneurship roller coaster.
Yeah,
And what I often hear from people is that when they're doing stuff, they're not marketing. And then if they're not marketing, then the clients that they have may fall off and then they have to, start marketing
yeah,
instead of doing what they want to do. So,
right.
so that can be an issue for some entrepreneurs. And so on the flip side of that question, what has been some of your biggest successes? What has given you the most joy so far from starting your business?
I think when I was working with St. Vincent's and the doctors there, and their patients were coming in, and our combined knowledge helped give those people some things that they took away that they thought would actually be helpful. I still talk to some of those people today, and they're still doing well. They still ask me questions, so we still have relationships. And I think that project will always have like a special place in my heart, because that's ultimately what I want to do, is do demonstrations and classes for people like that. I don't just want to teach people to cook. I mean, that's fun too, but I want to teach people to live through food.
Okay, great. So take us through the process. Say, I am interested in your services. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what do you do? Do you have like an interview with your
I
potential
do. I do.
client and
I,
discuss their needs and
yep.
what is it that you do from start to finish?
Well, we hold an interview. We do a questionnaire so I can kind of determine what you're eating now. And then I can also gain kind of a perspective on things that you might try. And then we sit down and discuss the plan that I come up with. Um, if that's a go for you, then I do the grocery shopping. I pack it up. I come to your house. I cook. I clean behind myself. I label and I leave. And you're more, and I class too. It doesn't have to be, because that's like more of a meal prep end of it. But I can also come and we can decide on, say you want to learn how to make a specific dish that we've talked about. Then I come and I do that one-on-one cooking class. I still do the shopping. I come lay it out. It's still in your home. It's convenient, and we make it affordable for you.
Fantastic. That sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
It's usually like I'm working and then all of a sudden 4 o'clock rolls around and it's just like, oh my God, what am I going to have to eat?
Right.
So
Right.
I mean that would be
It ends up
for me.
being
I don't
garbage.
know if anybody else in the group here is just like saying, wow, no grocery shopping, no meal prep. I have delicious food
Right.
made for me. I mean,
Right. And your kitchen clean.
and clean, of course. The dishes. That's the biggest hurdle.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Is the more convenient you make it, which I'm still tweaking the process. So I mean, the more I get to do it, I do it a little less than I used to because I have 4-year-old twins. So I stay home with them unless I really, really have a class or, something like that. But I still take clients, but not as many. But I'm still going.
Fantastic. So those are the questions that I had prepared. So we'll go to the attendees or to Julie. Any questions that from the people that are on?
So everyone, please ask any questions you have in the chat box and we will go through those. Dr. Rossler, can you see?
Yes, I see the first question.
Okay.
And it says, how did the pandemic change your business model if you could not prepare the meals in the client's home? And do you think, or did you think you would never recover?
I did consider stepping away from it. The pandemic was obviously a big hurdle. Like I said, I do have my twins, so I kind of stopped production. I mean, I couldn't, because I have to do it in a home. I can't just cook it in my house and bring it to you. My house is not inspected by the health inspector, so that's illegal. So I can't do that. I did some video meetings with people and kind of walked them through cooking things that people that I was already established with. But it wasn't so much about the business during then. It was just more seeing what I can do to help type thing. So it really wasn't about paying my bills. It was just about staying relevant, I guess you can say.
And just to kind of piggyback on that, have you recovered?
I'm starting to, but it's kind of a blend between how busy I want to be versus how busy I can be, if that makes sense. Because I am the primary parent that stays home with my children, and they have their challenges as well. So it's just finding that balance of, I guess maybe when they start to go to school full time, then I can leap back into it full time. But for right now, I'm really more of a part-time entrepreneur, just out of necessity.
Okay, great. Julie, do you have questions on your end? Because that's the only question that I see. Oh, okay. Here's one.
I saw that. I do miss it. It's like a drug. I really do miss. I do miss the rushes and the plating of 300 covers a night. I do miss that action. This one is a lot more laid back, but yeah, I would put a coat on and go anytime, just for one night.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's and just for the recording, the question was, do you miss the hustle and bustle of a commercial kitchen?
Yeah.
So the next question is, what do you have to do to keep your RN license?
I just keep up with classes and pay my my fees every year. That's all. Simple. Just go to school for about 2 hours online and pay your fees, and you're still a nurse.
Well, that's good to know. Kind of like being a real estate agent. I have my real estate license, and that's what I do every couple of years, the continuing education. So I get
okay.
that. So the next question, have you considered opening your own space and having clients come to you?
I have, and I keep going between a food truck model or a brick and mortar, but I am years from that. Just balancing everything else that's going on, I'm years. But I am trying to conceptualize it when I can, but it's not anything near concrete yet. But yes, I have considered that.
Okay. Other questions? I've gone through the ones that I can see in my chat. Julie, do you have any on your end?
Yes, we have one. So in some of our other interviews prior to you, we interviewed a couple of other entrepreneurs in different industry areas, and a couple of them mentioned what they would do in those down times while they were trying to keep their motivation, whether it was listening to podcast or just anything like that that you did personally to keep you going in those down times, to keep you inspired?
Yes. And it came in the unlikeliest of places. Well, not really, if you have small children. My kids are picky, picky, picky. And they have some issues where food is instrumental with helping them as well. And just trying different recipes in ways that I never thought of. I never thought of a child's palate. I cook for adults. So cooking for the adults in my household and cooking for them keeps me motivated because I have to try different things. I don't want my kids to eat chicken fingers and french fries every day. So I have to get creative and sneak things in them. And then I also have to please the adults in the house. So I have no shortage of challenges to stay motivated on cooking different healthy dishes. And then I still have to feed myself for my illness. So I stay busy in that department.
Julie, do you have other questions on your end? Because I don't have any on my end.
I think that's it for questions. I do have one other question. I know that we've asked the others about, you mentioned the chamber, and I'm also wondering, the other questions that we have asked our other interviewees, as far as like funding and startup cost, were there specific resources that helped you obtain that?
No, because I tried to do my business model around not needing big contributions. So if you think about it, I cut a tremendous potential cost just by doing my own travel. So I don't need to pay rent. I don't have any employees to pay. So my overhead is really, really, really low. I mean, the clients, they pay for I don't pay for their groceries. I just get paid for my services. So I really don't have a ton of overhead. That may be an issue later when I try to scale, but I am light years away from that. Just because of my personal situation, not because of, what I could be doing.
So do you have like the clients pay for the groceries and then you bring them to the house, or
Yes,
do you get reimbursed for them?
yes, I get reimbursed for them. Yeah.
I have one other question. How do you deal with, or I don't know if you have to deal with this much, but so that's one great takeaway is that students or people who are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs can think of that space and how they can get started with the low startup cost. I think that's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm hearing from some of the providers I use. I've gotten several emails, not that I was the one that did this, but several emails just updating everyone on their cancellation policies.
Mm-hmm.
And just wonder if you ever had challenges with that, with your
Not,
clients, or how
not,
do you handle that?
I haven't had many cancellations, and I think that's because what I'm doing is so specialized, and it's not really for convenience or comfort, not necessarily, but the people that call me, they kind of need to change something. So it's not something that you go, oh, that sounds fun, let me do that, and then cancel. Like these people need to cook this food. So I don't go through a lot of cancellations. And I saw a question that came up about marketing. I suck at marketing. So I just want you to know that that would probably be my biggest challenge. I did the whole business card and going everywhere I could in my chef code and um trying to give out business cards and things like that. But word of mouth has really been most instrumental to me, to be honest. just my clients telling other people and teachers and former colleagues, things like that have been my like saving grace because I suck at marketing. I'm not good at it.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a good job with your marketing because you're keeping the business small, while
Yes.
you're caring for your twins. And
Yes.
then, when they move along, then you can think about, expanding, and
Right.
then you have all this time to think about how you will attract new clients, right?
Exactly. Someone said something about Hello. I saw it say Hello Fresh, but then
Yeah, so who is your competition? Would it?
I don't have any. Me?
Yeah, and I think that's what they were asking, is that some of the food delivery companies, or do you consider
No,
any of those your competition?
I don't. And I say that because they're a very generalized company, whereas mine is more tailored to you as an individual. My diabetes acts totally different than the next person diabetes. So you have to personalize it. I can't do the same meal plan for this person who had kidney failure that I can for this person they have different challenges. So both of them can order from HelloFresh, and one is going to do better than the other because it's not providing what they need personally to take care of their specific issue. So I don't really consider any of that competition.
So being a nurse, can you do like things like blood tests to see if what you're doing in the kitchen is helping your clients?
I have done I had this one program where I would monitor blood pressure and blood sugars because that's something within my scope of practice. I also did A1Cs for a while. So I have little tests that I can do, and they can take that number and give it to their physician, and then they can, discuss what they need to do, or if it's working for them, or what they want to supplement with, things like that. So yeah, I have done that.
Okay, great. So, Julie, do you have other questions, or do you want to wrap us up?
I think that we have all of our questions.
Okay.
And again, we will be sending out this recording, which you could also use for your marketing. And FSCJ can also use it for our marketing. So again, I want to just repeat your name, Miss Takesha Green. Am I saying that
Yes.
correctly? I think I mispronounced it in the beginning. I'm sorry.
Happens all.
And your website is salubriouseats.com. And I thank you so much for your time. I think you've done a wonderful thing. Where I see a big difference in what you're doing is that you have the nursing background. I know for myself, that would be the difference for me if, in hiring you versus someone else, because you would understand, what the different nutrients are actually doing for the body, and where, sometimes even things that we would think might be good for us based on a condition may not be so good. A lot of fruit is not always a good thing. So the food pyramid doesn't necessarily work for anyone, but I appreciate so much what you're doing. I think there's a definite need. I don't think you're going to have a problem when you get ready to scale up. We'll all be rooting for you.
Well, thank you.
And I appreciate everyone that came on to listen, and I look forward to getting this video. These recordings will go out, and we're going to share them with high school students who are in the Culinary and Entrepreneur Career Academies. I really think these are going to be great for any student, not just those in the culinary or health science programs. And we thank you so much for being willing to participate to help us promote entrepreneurship and career and technical education.
Been my pleasure.
And thank you, Dr. Rossiter. Thank you for all of our listeners.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Oh, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.